conference is in its third day, with delegates coming together in an effort to enhance global conservation. Under discussion is the survival of species from rhinos, lions and elephants to pangolins and the African grey parrot. Our reporter Thami Dickson is at the conference and he brings us more. Thami, a very good afternoon to you. Definitely some difficult issues to be discussed and a lot of proposals up for debate. All right, I'm not sure if we've got Thami there. We'll try cross back to him at a later stage. Thami Dickson live from the Cites conference in Sandton.
Lunch break now. The delegates have taken a short break, and it's after what has been quite a very dramatic moment this morning, where we had really the crux, or rather the microcosm of what is likely to be the discussions during this conference, where delegates have been discussing the issue about the ivory domestic markets, as well as the stockpiles of ivory that many countries do have. It was a very, very heated meeting this morning in one of the committee rooms, where delegates, especially coming from the African countries, where they were arguing about the need for them to be allowed to actually be able to sell their own ivory, which they have in large stockpiles in their own countries, and also they want to be allowed to determine their own markets, so that they allow whoever wants to come and buy and to be allowed to do that. And it was a very heated meeting. In fact, at some point, Namibia stood up and actually proposed that the meeting must be stopped, and the whole discussion should be stopped, because they're arguing that Cites does not have jurisdiction over the sovereign countries. They cannot get into the space, the domestic space, but theirs is only to regulate international trade. They have no right to get into telling or imposing on countries in terms of what is it that they should do about their natural resources. It was a huge debate, and Swaziland jumped in as well, and Namibia jumped in to say that they wanted this to be stopped. There cannot be a debate that seeks to impose on countries in terms of what they should do about their own biodiversity. But unfortunately, that motion was put into vote, and Namibia, Swaziland and others, several countries who were supporting the motion, were defeated. There was about 57 to 31 votes, and the motion was defeated, and therefore this conference will continue discussing about what countries should do individually in their own domestic territories about the stockpiles of ivories that they have, as well as whether they should in fact be allowed to trade on ivory and the rhino horns that they have. The issue really here is that countries, they're arguing that there should be a balance between countries that have enough resources, enough of these natural resources, they have enough of these elephants, they've got enough of these rhinos. Why is it that they cannot be allowed to generate revenue out of their own natural resources? Why should they not be allowed to actually sustain their economies from the natural resources that they have? That is at the crux of this conference here, but also arguing that there's a market out there. There are people who want to buy these ivories. There are people who actually want to buy these rhino horns. And so if you punish them as people who are supplying, what are you doing about people who are demanding? And because in their view, that is why there's a crisis of poaching. That is why there's a crisis of elephants being killed. It's because there's a huge demand, and people know that in fact there are countries who have oversupply of these animals. So that's why there's a crisis of poaching and killing of these elephants. So it is really a debate that is shaping up to be a microcosm of what is likely to take place in this conference when the delegates come back this afternoon. So that's the little update that we have from the Cites conference here in Sandton Convention Center. Back to the studio.
Thami Dickson live from Sandton at the Cites conference. Well, let's